feel I can't control. I never thought that you'd deceive me. Make a wish, you're gonna need me. Well, I owe you one. Well, I owe you. No, it's not fair. No, it's not fair. No, it's not. Who am I, motherfucker? I'm risking digs. I got a penny for your thoughts, but.
Maybe you were wrong for the first time. Maybe I was looking for a lifeline.
Welcome, 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 welcome.
But I can't let you go. And maybe you found someone. I'm better off alone. Something better came along, but I can't let you go. But I can't let you go. And maybe you found someone. I'm better off alone. Something better came along. Maybe I was wrong for the first time. And maybe this was all just in my mind. We'll rise and fall and start again. God knows when we'll reach the end. And every single thing might fall apart. But I can't let you go.
Kind of robotic. All right.
And maybe you found someone. I'm better off alone. Something better came along, but I can't let you go.
How about now?
But I can't let you go. And maybe you
Perfect. Of course it is. Of course it is. Yeah, so got Sierra going. I'm still actively looking to sculpt this. Like, this is good action. So I'm still looking at. I've just taken the ticks down on this. I'd like slightly quicker signals now. The range has slowed down a little bit. It's tightened up. So here I'm looking for quicker signals now in this. Let's take the Binance chart because I've got this. Is this the Binance chart? No, I was about to say I did it on Max. I got the wick off markup on there. Let's have a look at that first, actually. So I sent this today by a friend who basically questioned whether or not this is a period of accumulation, which is actually a pretty interesting thought to have around this region here. This move here is very Wyckoфfian in style. Okay, this move, this spring down from the lows here to instantly take back the full range is a very Wyckoфfian move. So this was interesting to me. The issue that I have with it is primarily supply dominates the entire range. So all of the larger candles are all supply based. They're all red candles. So that still sort of indicates to me that this is still distribution. Obviously there's huge buys here as this move gets going. But I think that a lot of this volume is also short volume. So I think a lot of this volume is also short closing. So I think this is a little bit misrepresentative of true demand here, versus also being a huge whack of shorts. So supply still dominates. I don't like it for that reason, but this structure is very nice in terms of a mini accumulation structure. In order for this to be accumulation, it would need to stop around 8.4 and then bounce heavily again. And of course, the area that's going to run into next is the 9k region up here. Okay, which is going to start to take us into all these wicks that are down here on candlestick. Right, and then if it bounces at the top of this range, so if it bounces in this 8.7 region and goes again, then I think we can safely assume that this is accumulation. Right now, fuck it, let's get Binance so I can get rid of this shit now. right now we're pressed right against the daily 200 EMA. So this here hasn't crossed yet, right? Last cross is here. This could very, very easily be this. Right to here. So we could come up, spike above these, retest into this region at 9.7, and then die. That's still very much on the cards. Thing that I need to be careful of is that obviously I have a bearish bias. I've got to be more careful about having a bearish bias when we get above this 200. Because when we get above it, okay, good things happen. So I've got to be very careful not to carry that bias too far if there is a clear move above the 200. If we get that clear move above the 200, the only other area I would truly fear is here. So if we spike up into this region and we get rejected heavily, that's the only other region that I would be nervous. But right now we are literally pressed up. Okay. But for now, this is still bearish in structure. The fact that it can't close, if it can't close above this 200, it's still a bearish sign. But I think, imagine like the bullishness that happens if this move comes off, right, to here. Like, I mean, everybody is going to be euphoric. So it feels like that is the move that would destroy the most people. And then if we came back down, I definitely don't want to save that. So that's the thought process right now. Is I'm still bearish until we're actively trading above the daily 200. So it's still lower time frame scalping. That's what it is. ETH just is kind of nothing. Like, again, it's a really strong day for ETH, right? But in the macro picture, it's achieved nothing. Lower low, okay, going towards potentially painting a lower high, right? High, low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. So if we come up here and just paint another lower low, then this is down, and this breaks. So this region breaks this time, we come down here, and then we start heading towards this region. So ETH still hasn't really achieved anything on a macro scale. Yeah, sure, it's had a great day today, but it's rejecting off the 50 EMA on the daily. It's already had the death cross here. So for me, again, still bearish until we get above this 200 level. We need to start making some higher highs. Without that, it's pretty gross. And also, like, the volume on ETH hasn't been spectacular. It's still been relatively low. The other pair that's really got my interest right now is XRP BTC. Look at all this madness. So XRP BTC, like, I think I just have to short. DZ, for what it's worth, big move down, was from last week about 8,800, and selling was exhausted. Picked up very specific untapped area below 7,300, and speaking historically, you wouldn't find bottoms formed the way prices formed so far. Yeah, like, I certainly don't think we're at a bottom situation. Yeah, I definitely don't think we are. It's too rapid. It's too rapid to be a bottom. And with the structure, number one being bearish and the trend being bearish, it's nothing more for me, right? For me personally, it's nothing more than that situation I spoke about, which is short squeeze, okay? Huge buy-ups to force short closures. CME closing today. Right, there's a range of factors that play into why that has happened today. And for me personally, it doesn't change the structure. It doesn't change my thinking. it's simply an unfortunate day for bears. That's it. Right, but bears have had plenty of good days, so it's nothing major here. Do you only take closing price to establish market structure, like saying there's a lower low, lower high? Yes. Typically, unless I can see it actively moving towards something. Like, for example, let's take the USD pair. Right. So this is a dead idea, but this is still very relevant, this level here. So let's take this. Right, so this is one area on the USD pair for Ripple. So like, as far as I'm concerned, this is still lower high, right? There's nothing that changes this. Sure, we've recovered really well here, but actually this is just a huge clearance of the stops. Like, every time I look at this chart, it makes me want to short Ripple. Huge move today. Clears these stops. The only reason I'm not shorting is because of this area below. But yeah, in terms of how I view the market structure, I'm typically looking at closing. And then while we're on the XRP chart, so this is the major support and resistance level here. We can see the very clear touches in. Right, resistance, breakthrough, resistance up here. This was support, then breakthrough, and now we're back above it here. So if I'm going to long XRP, it's going to be because it comes down here. Right, but right now I really don't like this, because this just ran the stops here. So I really don't like this candle on XRP. But anything that comes back in here and holds it at 28 is a long. So if 28 holds, then I'll long it. If 28 fails, then I'll probably short the break. I probably won't wait for a retest. I'll probably short a break. But I really don't like the USD pair. I really don't like that move. That feels horrible. BCH, BTC is a really interesting one today. So I've been looking at a fresh long position for this. I was closed on limit, so I was automatically closed on this. So obviously took the trade. Where did we take the trade? From somewhere in this region here, right? And then like the close was up here. So like missed this last extra push, but I mean it was right into a resistance area here. So that's why I was taking that zone. That zone is where I wanted to take profit, because it ran into this resistance. I mean, like, I'm not going to account for that extra move there. But I am actively now looking to pick up on this again. So this came down, sold off, and basically just came back into this original breakout region here. So it responded really well to coming back here, and as we can see, we're starting to move away quite considerably now from this region here. So actually, I had a call with someone prior to coming on stream, which is why I was delayed. But I've already taken this position at 2950. So my position is actually here. So I'm actually already in BCH. So BCH I fucked up with giving any actual instruction for what I'd done last time, apart from the chart. And this time I also just didn't even post anything. So my apologies. But I am currently in a BCH long because of this retest here and this bounce away. The USD pair is like 21% up today. This thing just goes too hard when it goes. This is the original zone though, which is interesting because this here is one of the original areas when this first broke down that we wanted to look at. So we consider this potentially as head and shoulders here. Okay, extended right shoulder with huge breakdown. This would be the retest back up. The other thing is like this is pretty much very nicely tapped the 200. Okay, and failed. We've already had the death cross here. So this is the retest of that 200. But the volume's really nice. I think they'll probably push again here, but we're basically moving into the exact region that is 9k on BTC. Okay, this is basically 9k BTC along here, and this is the move back into it to retest. So USD pair, like, still, this is still for me all bearish retests. I wonder if there's any trend line that's starting to form here. It's not bad for eyeballing it. So we'll see what happens with that diagonal. We ran the lows again here. And then big move up. The BTC pair, I'm not sure if I covered that. Like, I'm pretty sure I didn't, but I know I said that I have to short this, which is 100% correct. This trend line is too strong for me. Okay, 1 touch, 2 touch, 3 touch, recovery straight away from there, and then sell off. This is too strong. There's too much confluence of this line. There's too good a reaction from being on this line and falling below this line. Okay, so the reaction before has been huge. The reaction's been really nice, little bottom here, and then the reaction again has been huge. So the fact that we're now below this line again and the reaction hasn't been huge is a major warning sign for me. So this is a short, and the other reason this is a short is if you simply just like, this is the other area that people started to get bullish on the BTC pair, and we had a very similar structure. We just started to grind up here until we fell through, and then that was it. We literally just had a solid week of sell-offs every day. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 11 days of red candles just from breaking the trend line. So I don't want to miss out on that again here. So I'd rather just start scaling into position. That trend line is really clean on the 4 hour as well. Okay, held. Really nice interaction with it all the way up. Really nice interaction with it. Really nice interaction with it. And then breakthrough, retest, fail, back down. Yeah, son, sorry, I was just talking through and didn't say anything. Yeah, I entered a new long on BCH. I'm not still in the old one. My old one hit target, so it auto closed. I had limit cells set there, so it just auto closed today. I was actually out with my wife when it hit, so I came back to profit on that. Yeah, that was except the dinner. It was a wild one, right? That was a okay, it's a good move still. Where are we? Yeah, like this movement down was really nasty, and then the recovery was just insane. Obviously buoyed by the 22% covered on here, but yeah, still huge. Huge, huge, huge. And BCH runs hard. When it goes, it goes. Ada really, really struggling. It cannot lose this area for me. Like, it's really struggling here. Like, really, I don't want it to start losing 473. Really don't want it to lose 473. I want this box to hold. TRX, absolutely fine. Just retested this. Huge bounce, huge volume. So I got no problems with riding TRX all the way through. Some people closed last night around this region, which was actually a really nice close. They avoided this, but then their entry still isn't as good. So like it depends if they re-entered whether or not they're going to be able to take the additional profit. But I'm very comfortable in this position still. EOS. Like EOS has just been I mean I don't even know what the fuck's been going on in EOS. Like this. Like I mean I'm basically just putting in the trade because this is what I like this setup, and I'm not gonna kind of concern myself with this action. Like this is too random. So I'm not even gonna worry too much about this. I'm just gonna allow that trade to play out and not overanalyze it. So I'm just going to keep an eye on these. How did everybody do today? How bad was the pain? I got stopped out of. I think I've taken 5 trades today on VTC and ETH. I think I've been stopped on 3 and 1, 2. So I'm slightly up. But obviously I was stopped out earlier on my 7,700 short. But I mean, yeah, what are you going to do about that? Big pain for Sun. Giving back those gains. Yeah, man, it happens. It happens. Like we get these days every once in a while, right, where it's just like everything goes to shit. All of our best laid plans. Yeah, Exile's happy because he's basically a permabull, so Exile's going to be very happy with the day. How's it going, Randy? Welcome. You think that's the top? That would be a big call to make, son. Like, as you know, the thoughts that I give tend to be. One sec. I'm very tempted to short here. I'm not going to yet, just because this isn't clean enough for me. What time are we now? Coming 15 minutes till the close, so I don't think I can scalp going into the close. It's tempting. Right, let's hold. I was expecting this to happen due to exhaustion. Mentioned it 2 days ago. Yeah. Yeah, like we're gonna get one of these moves. I think the biggest thing is like the chart still tells us whether or not we're bullish or bearish, not the sentiment on Twitter. So like it's basically like if we're below the 200 EMA, then I'm bearish. It doesn't matter what happens in a single day. Like a clean div on the 5-minute ACR. Yeah, I think it will break down. Like I think I'll be able to get a $200 move out of it. I'm just waiting for the time that it shows me the weakness, and I'm nervous about shorting it into the daily. I'll show you what I'd like to happen. I can show you one candle, and I think that that's where I take the trade from. Let's just check that BCH position, make sure I'm not being fucked here. Okay, that's good. The max chart's gonna have this on. That's okay, I can do it from this anyway. Okay, so what I would like to see happen is us hold this range into the close tonight. I would like to see the close happen. I'd like to see us run this high. So I'd like to see this move, run that high, and then sell off. I'd love the stops to be taken here on the Friday close. So I'd love to see us move up into this region and then come down. And then I'd look for weakness on that. The only disappointing thing is I would have really have liked this area to have been rejected like far harder than this hold up here. Like obviously we're in like this way overbought zone at the top here. But the 4 hour is still fine. $12-hour divergence. Play out or not? Interesting. Daily divergence, play out or not? Yeah, so anyway, I'd like to see some more upside on here before I short it, or happily short it, or give me a divergence. And it's crazy as well. Like I find myself getting more and more pissed off with Twitter. Like I'm basically at the verge where I'm not even. I'm gonna start doing what like Cuban and Sting post, which is kind of like just a daily overview of their scalp trades. Like I think I'm pretty much just gonna start posting that, and that's it, because like I just get so fucked off with Twitter. Like the bigger my account's got, then the more fucking idiots tend to comment there. Like when I had a small account, then things were quite chill, and it was actually like a productive conversation with people. Whereas now, like everybody's like fucking borderline retarded, and like no one actually trades. So like somebody just like quotes you, you know, like there's a fucking guy with a 7700, and he's like, "Oh, did you add big to your short at 7700?" Well, no, of course I fucking didn't. It's like a fucking bullzooka straight up to 8k. Of course I didn't fucking add big. So I found myself getting more and more pissed off with Twitter. So I think I'll probably just be like dedicating a lot more time to just like putting the same content into Discord, and that's it. And then just posting the overviews in Twitter every day. Yeah. Yeah, like I had 2 people message me to ask me should they buy alts. And I was like, yeah, if you want it. Like, sure. They said, well, is this the bottom for alts? So, yeah, don't know. But if you want to buy them, go for it. Like, the amount of people I've had that ask for, you know, like, that assistance, crazy. Yeah, Twitter's for memes. Shit posting only. And the thing is, I'd like to offer, like, I would like to change the appearance of the account. So I think I'll probably just end up just posting like the overviews. I don't want to be posting all fucking day on Twitter now. So I had a message tonight from Awesome O. So is obviously in the group with us. Who said, I'm going to miss the stream tonight, but could you speak a little about the right mentality in trading psychology? I'd love to hear your opinions about that. So basically, read Trading in the Zone. If you want to learn more about trading psychology, read Trading in the Zone. And start to absorb what some of that book is saying. There is a fantastic attitude test in there. It is something that every student that I've worked with on a one-to-one basis, it's the first thing that they are required to complete is an attitude test. And even just completing the attitude test will open up a lot to you about your own psychology and trading mentality. Like just completing the questionnaire that's in that. So I'd highly recommend checking out Trading in the Zone. Trading psychology and trading mentality is a huge topic area. It's not something that's just easy to cover off and kind of speak about in a generic way. It's very subjective. It depends on a whole range of things. It depends on, like, it is a psychological exploration. So the stuff that he talks about in Trading in the Zone dates back to like childhood, and the way that you experience things in childhood, and the way that shapes the trading decisions that you make now, the way that you take losses and wins. Like, it's huge. So it's not that easy to speak about in a general way, but I would, as I said, highly recommend Trading in the Zone to anyone. Yep. And so I read Trading in the Zone ages ago. Yeah, Bad says there's a few videos in YouTube from Mark Douglas to explain that. Yeah, and I listened to the audiobook again not long ago, and it's a fantastic read and a fantastic listen. I'd only recommend getting the audiobook if you've already read it. I'd recommend taking the time to actually sit and read it to begin with. Yeah, XR, you're right. It's exactly what it is. Like, you have them, like, people that just, like, come on, like, it's, I don't know, like, it bothers me because I still feel the need to respond to them, because I'm like, you're fucking dumb, but I can't say you're fucking dumb. So, like, I have to try and be witty in my response to them. But, like, what I mean is, you are fucking dumb. Like, if I respond to you having given me a shitty comment on Twitter, the chances are that I already think that you're stupid. But now I'm just trying to see if I can take the piss out of you. Okay, nice. That's really good. Bad. Do you mind linking it in the Discord group? I think that would be really helpful, and I can point to it then. Randy, yeah, I saw you asked for bat, right? Okay, let's take a look. Let's try not to get the USDT one. Only really interested on the daily. See how well this lines up. Yeah, so not bad at all. So I can't long it yet because we're right at this resistance in here, and it's weekly resistance as well. So like this is basically just one huge support resistance level. Support here, resistance here after this big breakthrough candle. So this is basically just a support and resistance region. It's better on the daily, you can see it more clearly. It's probably a little bit higher. It's probably actually around here. So like it's nearly there if you looked at it this way, but already rejecting here. Good volume again today. So Randy, like if I'm playing this, it's a case of I would want it to cool off. So it's had one tap into this region here. I'd be surprised if it doesn't get a second one at some point. Held up really well in this region. Good breakout from here. I could probably draw some sort of meme triangle on this breakout from. But I need to see how it reacts to this zone. Like I can't long this close. Like there's a little bit of upside game. There's a couple of cents in here. But I need to wait and see what happens, because the chances are that this rejects this region here when it comes back. Good structure on the rounded bottom. Right, so like if it breaks this level in here, then I think then it's a long. So like bullish structure, Randy. Nice structure with this rounded retest, but we're right up against the 200 EMA, right up against weekly resistance. So I've just got to be patient on this. Thanks, Bad. This is the divergence sun as well. So the divergence is still there. There's nothing changing on that. It hasn't popped up. So I think now it's just a case of waiting the 3 minutes, see what happens at the daily open, see if we do make a push for the high, and then see if there's any weakness to short there. So I've been actively using the rotations today up here, so you can see in this spreadsheet that's running. This is giving me all of the rotation data in here that I need. So the rotation data has been really helping out today. And I'll explain a little bit more about that shortly. AO not giving the divergence, some pressure of selling into the last couple of minutes of the close, but again, nothing to get too excited about. Like just like that, it can be bought up. Yeah, son, like I typically I don't like trading, actively trading the close in a marginal position. So if I'm in a position that's like, it's like here, and like I don't know if it's going to be like safe or not, I'd rather not trade into the close. I'd rather wait for the close, wait for the immediate action the first sort of 5-10 minutes, and then hopefully make a decision on any scalps I can play from that. Typically we see an opportunity around the open to make a scalp, so I'm kind of hoping that plays out here. I'm kind of hoping that there is an opportunity presented to make a quick scalp. forgot to process my withdrawal on Bybit. I fucking hate why do they only run it 3 times a day, and why does Mex only run a single withdrawal? So fucking annoying. So now I've got to wait till like 8 AM for them to run another withdrawal. Alright. So that's the daily. Hard push into the daily. Alright, like this is what we were just speaking about. Hard push into the daily. Okay, so now this is where I'd love us to run the top. Come on. Run that top. I think the run of the top happens. I want to put a percentage to the confidence I have. Maybe 70% confident the run of the top happens. It's really nice volume coming into this as well. But Son, you can see here, and yeah, Randy, I will. Yeah, definitely. I'll check out Matic now. Give me 1 sec. Son, can you see like why I don't like trading into the close? Like this sort of impulsive reaction after the close is something I can try to avoid where possible, and just capitalize on the 5-10 minutes afterwards. Yeah, let's take a look at Matic while this is sorting itself out. Okay, cool. I'll cover it down. You're here. Like, very simply, Randy, on this. Still holding support. So this region is just the really important region for Matic. If it can just hold this as support, then I think we see some relief on BTC pairs today, given the strength of BTC today. I think if BTC at least chills out for a little bit, then we'll see some relief on these pairs. But as long as it holds this level here, then I think you're good. I'm in 176. Okay. Like, I wouldn't be looking at holding it too much past this point. Stop at 160. Yeah, I think that's fair enough. Like, I think that, like, I wouldn't want anything to go past 156. So if you're comfortable with 160, then I go for that. But yeah, for now, it's still holding support. Like, it would be horrible to close it out here because it is at support. But these sell-offs look horrible, so I think you're fine. You've got your stop in place, you've got your invalidation in place, you know where you want to cut that trade. Okay, so we ran this high. We didn't run the main high. But I'll just wait. If I get a divergence here, this would be the best possible setup I could take. Okay, let's say, for instance, we pop upwards. But given this sells, I don't think we will. If we popped upwards here and created a divergence from here to here with a lower high, but we took the high up here, then that would be probably the dream short setup I could want to play into. Oh, maybe we will get an opportunity. Okay, so BCH still strong, starting the day well. XRP still weak, starting the day pretty poorly. Same as it was at the 8400 levels pre-breakdown. Made a high, consolidated, raided the highs, and the rest is history. Yeah, like this would be happening quicker, but like I think on like a lower time frame, like yeah, perfect. Like I'm still waiting for a raid of the highs. It's for any swing positions or, you know, positions I plan on holding for longer than 15 minutes. Then yeah, I think that, you know, you have to wait for those raids. I mean, it doesn't look like I'm going to get a divergence here, but I might speak about in a second the way that I use the rotations, because there is an active play for me in this region. Okay, so definitely not going to get the divergence. Am I running on 6 tick? I'm just looking what would happen if Heath raided the top. It'd be a pretty nasty raid. If we could touch 189 and fail. All right, so let's discuss a little bit about the rotations here. So the way that I utilize the numbers, or the way that I have been utilizing the numbers, I've been chatting to Sting, who's been really helpful in giving me a load of information about the way that he uses rotations, and so it's a practical application of that. I was chatting to him the other day about my implementation of it, and it was slightly different to his, but anyway, we can run through it. So, two things. The numbers that you see printed above here, okay, are the rotations, the up and down rotations of BTC in this right hand chart. So we can see here that this up rotation moved up $112, the down rotation moved down $119, this up rotation moved up $203, the down rotation went down 86, etc. Okay, all the way through all the peaks on Renko. Now, the reason that this data is important is that it gives us an idea about the way that the essentially the flow of the market is working. Okay, so we know that if up rotations are bigger than down rotations, then the market is favoring upside positions that day, right? Because there's more value to be gained from up moves than there are down moves. So that's where this data becomes helpful in the first instance. So we can see up here, okay, running this spreadsheet. Over the last 72 hours, the average upside move has been $199. So that's the average move you get in a long position on a rotation. The average downside move in the last 72 hours has been $92. So we can see that the favor is very much in the upside moves. So that automatically tells me that it's preferential for me to get into a long position because the gains are double, right? Then what we see here is in the last 12 hours, okay, the upside rotations had an average of 76 and the downside 98. And that figure there, 76 and the 98 over the 12 hour, obviously takes us back to kind of like just pre-pump. So we'll start to see those figures update. Then the last 8 hours, $68 downside, 76% upside. So what these figures are telling me is they're telling me the average move I can expect to see if I'm in a long position or a short position. So there's a couple of ways I can use that data. The first way I can use that data is if we're already traveling down, like we are in this region here, and this downside move is already $103, right? So we've already done $103 down in this rotation. And I know that the average is around $92 or $98. Right? So I already know that this is pretty close to what I could expect to take as a profit from a downside move. It's $92 or $98. So we're already past that. So like for me, I can't enter short here because I'm near the average rotation length. So like I don't know how much more value I could look to squeeze from this move. All right? So it gives me an idea of when a scalp may be coming to a close. The other thing that it can do is it can let you know how close to being sort of stopped out you could be. Alright, so let's consider that. That's a good example. Alright, let's take this example, okay? So let's say I take a long position here. Because this rotation is $119 down, okay? I get a divergence on the AO, and I choose to enter a long position here, okay? Then what happens is when we take this move up, we claim the moving average, which is a good sign for the long position, right? Bounce up, come to here, and we lose the moving average. Now instantly I may want to close this position. I've done $200 upside. Okay, I may want to close this out. But what I can do is I can use the rotation to my advantage here. So what I can say is, okay, there's an average of a $92 down move to be expected, right? So there's an average of a $92 move to be expected here. So when we start to travel down, okay, and this move here happens, and we hit $86, I can start to expect that this should stop here. Okay, if we start advancing past this rotation marker here, then I'm aware that we may have more downside, and so this becomes awkward for my long from down here, right? So I can also use this data to try and inform me of when I'm safe from a pullback and when a pullback is stronger than just a normal pullback. So I can start to incorporate that data about leaving this position in place. So you can see here, like we spoke about this area as potentially running its course as a down move, and then we're starting to see some bullish action push it back up now. So again, like we were right in the assumption that this probably isn't a good position to open up short, because we've already had pretty much the average downside move that we come to expect in the last sort of 2 days. And bad, it's like it's kind of similar, but it's also not, because like ATR is working out and repainting from an entire perspective, whereas this is obviously monitoring individual moves. But yeah, this is an opportunity to certainly add additional factors in with things like the AO and the moving averages to ensure that we can either stay in a move or we need to get out. And this may be quite interesting here. As this region did hold above the AO. So it'd be really cool if we make a divergence up here. Was that understandable about the utilization of rotations? Yeah, so this is all really exactly, and bad, you're exactly right. Okay, so you can basically the idea of my scalping system has always been, right, where to enter. So give me the awesome oscillator, give me the entry. Okay, tell me when the prevailing trend is running thin. And then from that point, what it's about is it's about how do I get the maximum value from this position I've just taken. So it's basically about how do I squeeze the most from this trade. And there are multiple things that I can use for that. I can use the moving average. Do we maintain the moving average? I can use the awesome oscillator. Do we maintain bearish or bullish momentum? I can use the rotations. So I can say, how close are we to completing a rotation? How much more value is there? And if we begin to get a pullback towards my position, where do I come under threat? So essentially the system is about taking the trade at the time when the lower time frame trend is running weaker, and then it's about getting maximum value by using a combination of indicators or oscillators in order to provide the most information possible. So hopefully we'll start to see some of that in action on the BTC screen. What's the difference in your usage and Sting's? So Sting is usually actively taking positions based on the rotations. So like Sting will start to scale into positions based on rotations themselves. So for example, what could we expect to see? So like let's take the last 12 and 8 hours, okay, because it's a better sample for us right now. So we're looking for like a sort of an upside move of $76. So you can see in this position here we've done $74 already in this up move here. right? So Sting may consider, because we're at the moving average, Sting may consider starting to build a short position at this region, because we're already pushing what could be expected from an upside move. So he may start building a short position in this region. So Sting is slightly more aggressive in his building of positions than I am. Whereas I prefer my trigger to be on a divergence, Sting is also looking at taking rotations into account for position building. And I'm mainly using it for confluence, and I would rather play off the awesome oscillator. And also, on the left-hand screen, I didn't even cover that, but it's exactly the same, but with ETH rotations. This ETH chart, the reason I haven't been focusing on it is that this ETH chart is probably more of a day trading chart setup. It's slightly slower, so it doesn't give signals as readily, and some of these signals can last quite a long time. Obviously this down move lasted for like 2 days on this chart, but the rotations are pretty clean on ETH as well. And I've got another spreadsheet that gives me the ETH information. Okay, so I'm still actively watching this BTC position. Okay, so we're making the high now. So we've already made the daily high here. ETH's following suit. We'll see how hard we push against this high. I mean, there's obviously going to be sells coming in this region. But as I said, I still think that the overall aim is to try and push this. So let's see if we get some sort of divergence down here. Already starting to try and create the divergence. You saw the trigger then. Okay, AO's changed because there was a fight back in that exact region that we'd need to create the divergence. But as soon as we get that, I'm happy to get into position on this. So I'm basically waiting for that second red bar. But of course, every chance that we just blow straight through and don't even make a div here. How close are we to that high? I think if we push that high, I don't think the AO divs. I think if we push that region, I don't think I get a div on that, so I'd simply have to play it as a swing failure if that is indeed what happens. I mean, we could literally just carry on above that level. I mean, it would be nice if that happened, because it's kind of what I've been talking about since pre-daily close, but we'll see. Just give me something as a bear today. All right, just let me make a quick buck here. I probably use like, you'll see it on the 5 minute. You'll see it on the 5 minute. Basically, what you're looking for is the reaction off it. So essentially what you want to see is if that high is caught, I don't think this divs. If that high is taken, essentially what you want to see is instant selling. like instantly back down. We can probably watch it here because I don't think we catch a divergence. Yeah, so we're not going to diverge. I mean, there's definitely pressure up here. ETH gave a really nice move here as well. So just like small consolidation on the bearish side, pop up, and then good move on the pop up. Flip the moving average back as well. So no short signal for me. Regardless of what I think about this being extended, there's still no short signal. Where I would potentially take it, obviously, is if we went again in this region. And so I think at this point, if the hourly took it, if the hourly took this high and then sold off under, I think that's also good enough. There was a really nice divergence on ETH as well I wanted to show, which is here. So this is the reason I use these ETH settings. Here's the divergence. Really clean. Why don't you watch the next chart? Because I got a load of shit all over it. And I don't want to delete it just yet. So I've got Binance up. Otherwise I would be watching Mex. I don't even like the fact this is selling off now. I would much rather this went for the high. But I'm also okay because it does give the chance of a divergence. I want the AO brought back into a dip, right? And then being able to make a lower high on that. Mex, we reached the 8800. Yeah, I know we've reached the 8800. Because this is Mex. Right, this side's Mex. Okay, I see what you mean. You've taken this high here. Yeah, and I guess in that same regard, right? There's no bearish div here for me on AO yet. Like, one option is to build, so one option is to start building position here. But I'd much rather wait for a, yeah, no strong sell-off for sure. Also showing the rotation in action. Yeah. So you can see here, right, $68 down move is to be expected. We hit 67 here and then started to recover again. So it just shows that this is definitely a market that you want to be trying to get long in. The gains from the upside moves are far stronger than the downside. But yeah, that's bad. That's a really good note. This is a really good example here of seeing a pullback in action and then an immediate recovery. Okay, so another rotation up. Okay, completed. Stronger move up, running into issues. Another high on the AO. So let's check this move on candle. Big move above. I'd really like this to take this high. Yeah, good. Okay, really strong move up. So I could take this here. Okay, so the average down rotation's been hit here. So I'm just holding fire before I take any position on this. Like we can see on the AO that I've got a divergence. I'm just cautious of the strength of the move. I'm aware of the move and I'm aware of the I'm aware of the region that obviously we're trying to push into, which is the 9k one. Right. Okay, so I'm gonna take a position on this. I'm just gonna take this stop up slightly. Like it's pretty tight here. See how quickly I get stopped out on this bullish run now. So the stop being just below 9k is gross, right? But the divergence is building quite considerably in this region. So if I get stopped here, then I probably go again. But I think I have to take this after watching this move up. We'll see how quickly I get dinged out. Could be a very quick one. Alright. So the quick dings to stop me. Hit the 9k region. Still diverging. XRP dying a very, very slow death. Or a very quick death. Alright, so no go there. Too strong. But we are at 9k, still continuing to diverge. How hungry for this am I? Nine one's a better region. That downside rotation again, like absolutely perfect. $74, $67. Like the downside rotations are on point here. So this is the 9-1 region that's like properly nasty. So I think strength is just still continuing through that region. I mean, this is a pretty insane move. Nine twos. 9-3. I mean, look at that, it's broken Ranko. Alright, so essentially what this is representative of is that there's huge sells in this region, right? Like, this is a huge sell-off region. But considering these are basically like $100 spikes here. 9,450. Man, fucking push on a Saturday. Alright, so very glad, number one, that I had a stop loss set up. Alright, so that $30 stop looks very, very attractive now. But obviously right now, completely fucking untradeable. Okay. Given where we are on the daily, I'd really like this just to chill out a little bit to see whether or not I can take a position on this. I think the ETH as well. Okay, so really nice sell-off on this. Tap that daily region. So I think we can safely say that it ran the highs, right? So ETH ran up into that exact area we marked off. It actually feels like right now ETH is the better trade for me. So like this region here on ETH, I think if BTC manages to pop back up, I think that this ETH trade is more attractive to me. I'm gonna start scaling into the ETH short. I can have a relatively decent stop here. You can see the downside rotations have got a lot stronger on BTC as well, obviously, since we tapped into 9k.
If you are too demanding or too greedy, your mind is not rich and self-sufficient. When your mind becomes demanding, when you long for something, you will end up violating your own precepts, not to tell lies, not to steal, not to kill, not to be immoral, and so forth. If you keep your original mind, precepts will keep themselves. The beginner's mind is the mind of compassion. When our mind is compassionate, it is boundless. This is also the real secret of the arts. Always be a beginner. Be very, very careful about this point.
I'm gonna scale from here on ETH. So I know there's a big order down here. Jesus. What in the fuck happened here? What the fuck happened here? I'm going to try the BTC short in this region. We'll get the instant $10 stop here. I'll take that up above the order. So buyers definitely stepping in that region just below 9.1. Each time we've trapped below 9.1, there's just a big volume of buyers that step in. So you can see that battle developing now. I've seen both sides. You're watching your short entry just become support. Always feels good. So a couple of reasons for this trade. First of all, very clear stop above the highs, which I'm fine with. Secondly, good target area to sweep already at the 9k region. And then secondly, the decline in momentum on the AO in this region. But then fucking big bull boy comes in with a huge buy. But essentially the reasoning for the trade here, it felt like everything aligns in this region. And if we get stopped, we get stopped. Two for two. Short became support. And the big move away. Sorry, I've neglected completely. Would be nice waking up with 0.3 funding. Yeah. Yeah, FTX had some problems today, right? Yeah, I saw a few people saying that there were issues with FTX. Yeah, son, the blue lines are actually limit orders for taking profit. So if they ever triggered, then you would see that in action. What time are we now? Oh man, 1:54. All right, 5 minutes. We'll wind down. Any questions anybody has about anything they've seen tonight, then please just give me a shout in the last 5 minutes. We'll get around to answering it. That went down. Yeah, well, I don't know what's happened at Binance. I mean, I'm sure that this image is going to be all over Twitter, right? But what the fuck happened here? Interesting region. Yeah, it's gonna be a difficult situation for them if stops aren't triggering. Yeah. Right then, boys. Let's wind it up there. 2 a.m. Enjoy the action for the rest of the night. Appreciate you joining me on a Friday night. I'll be back tomorrow with some details on the 2% challenge. Throwing in my balance in there, and then getting started with everything. So I'll be back to give some updates then. But have a good rest of the evening. Have a good weekend, everybody. I doubt I'll be around tomorrow night. I will be back for the weekly close, so we can discuss what happened over the weekend. And I'll take a look at theatres tonight. Take care, everybody.